Hey guys, Delta Canuckian here, and I got some Max Payne 3 gameplay for you guys. This is from Gang Wars, which is a really cool mode, one of the two really cool modes that the multiplayer's got, along with kind of your standard TDM and free-for-all stuff. And this is a 5-rounder, 5-chapter mode, where depending on how, what objectives are completed, and, which side wins, and stuff like that, the map and the story that is told, and of course the objectives throughout the entire mode change, and it all leads up to the cool finale team deathmatch. Everyone trying to kill each other type thing, and each team will get bonuses depending on which rounds they won beforehand. So I'm only showing you the first 3 rounds here because I don't want to be here for 25 minutes talking, and because I really kind of didn't do too well in the last two chapters of this game, and as the title suggests, these are going to be my first impressions of the multiplayer, which was a bit of a surprise addition to Max Payne 3, and more than that I was surprised at how good it actually is, at how much there is to it. Right? You see a lot of games that have been primarily single player that there's like, oh, we're gonna throw competitive multiplayer in, and then it's just kind of no, right? I mean, Assassin's Creed's multiplayer is very good, I know that, but it never hooked me. Dead Space 2's multiplayer was awful. It was awful, and I'm sure it'll be back in Dead Space 3, and I'm sure a more developed form. So, I thought there was potential there, because Dead Space 2 does have very good shooting mechanics. But back to the topic. Obviously, this is just a regular commentary. Oh God. This is just a regular commentary. You're going to be seeing a lot more of these in between Let's Plays. This and just Twisted Metal tips and tricks videos, which I'm going to be trying to get out quicker. And yes, I did forget about the another bit of Roadkill's special. I'm going to try and do like an add-on thing and use YouTube's video editor to fix that, and hopefully that'll be good. So that's that, and on to my impressions. And one of the big things I noticed at first that I guess isn't as much of an issue as I get more used to them, is the controls felt kind of clunky in this at first. In the single player, which is a lot slower paced, they work really well. It's a very different control button layout than most third-person shooters. But once you got used to it in the single player with the slower pace, it was very good. But the multiplayer is very different. It's very fast paced, very frenetic, and sometimes it can be a little goofy. So it takes a bit of time to get used to. And I'm sure the one big thing is, it's a Max Payne game. There's got to be bullet time, but how are you going to do bullet time in multiplayer? And I'll present like a scenario example. Say I'm using the bullet time burst. When I activate it, only guys that I can see on screen will have their time slowed down. So anyone that's like behind me, no issue. They're not going to get slowed down or anything like that. So it does work very well, and I'm sure when people heard Max Payne 3 multiplayer, that was the first big concern. How are they going to get that in? How are they going to make that work? And it does work beautifully. Once it can get annoying when you're always in that guy's line of sight and it's just constantly slowing down. But once you kind of figure out what's going on, it's like, okay, yeah, it's just part of the game. Nothing wrong with that. And like I hinted at earlier, there's a surprising amount of content to be unlocked, tons of stuff to do. You start off with a few basic loadouts, but as you level up, you unlock, I believe, 5 custom slots that you can create your own loadouts and do a ton of stuff. There's, you can choose like armor types, various like clothing that gives you bonuses, your weapons, your bursts, and bursts are a really cool. They're kind of, I guess, your kill streak type stuff. In single player, you build up your adrenaline and or your bullet time meter, and it slowly recharges. Well, that's kind of the replacement. You build up your adrenaline, and you build your bursts into 3 stages. So take the one, I think it's the one I have on in this game, this gameplay you're watching. It's called Trigger Happy, and I can use that burst at level 1 and get my entire team higher damage bullets for 20 seconds, or I could save it up until I get to that level 3, that top tier version of the burst, and bring in a kick-ass grenade launcher. So it's little stuff like that to make sure that that things aren't overused. It's very balanced. I've had almost no issues with balance. I mean, okay, dual handguns is going to kick just about everything else's ass, but look, think about the game you're playing. Like, that's, you know, if you're thinking, oh, I have an AK-47, I should be outgunning, you know, the dual M1911s. You're playing a Max Payne game. You're not going to get that. So I don't see anything wrong with that. That's just the way the game is, and it's not like you're significantly outclassed. You can, you know, it's very much skill-based. It's very much, you know, aim. There's nothing really overpowering, I think, here. And like I said, this is Gang Wars. This is one of the really cool modes where everything is very dynamic and changes depending on what's going on. And that goes along with another game mode that I haven't played that sounds really cool, called Painkiller, where 2 players assume the role. One Max Payne, one is his buddy Passos, and you know they're stronger characters than everyone else, and by killing them, you become that character, and you build up, you know, you rack up points by surviving, and eventually get killed, and so on and so forth. It's kind of a King of the Hill variation. It seems pretty cool. And of course, Gang Wars, which I've talked about. And then there's, you know, there's your standard team deathmatch, which isn't all that exciting. If that was all that the game included, you know, just your standard stuff like that, it probably wouldn't be, it wouldn't be as entertaining, I guess. And one of the really cool things about it is, you know, this is a Rockstar game, so I don't think it's going to have an issue of longevity or, like, not lasting very long, because they've already confirmed, I believe there's 7 DLC packs planned, one of which is going to be adding co-op in the near future. And, you know, Rockstar attracts, I find that their games attract a very different audience, more mature audience than the Call of Duties and other shooters of the world. So it's not like this is a game that is, you know, it is a third-person shooter, but it's not competing up against the Call of Duties and the Battlefields of the world, or in the games that have released, you know, lately, Starhawk or Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Speaking of which, I know a lot of people are saying Starhawk is the best multiplayer experience on the PS3 since Killzone 2, and Killzone 2 is phenomenal, so that's saying quite a bit. But in my opinion, Max Payne 3 is just a whole game. There's a lot of replayability of the single player for me. If you're a person that likes replaying the single player story, and there's a surprising amount of depth to the multiplayer here. That if this is a game that you really enjoy, it's going to keep you entertained for a long time. I don't know if I'll stick with it too far into the summer. I do want to pick up Little Big Planet 2 because I didn't when it came out, and that's you know, that's just a game that is really good to own, because you get to do all sorts of cool stuff. I don't need to explain too much about that, but you know, I think this is gonna last longer than a Ghost Recon Future Soldier will. And I'm not saying like those will die off. They will have their communities. Ghost Recon will have a very small community, I think. I know it's a popular series, but it's just, you know, it's a game that after the first month, I think it will boil down to very much the hardcores. Starhawk is gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna have a lot of the Warhawk guys going to it. And, you know, it's not my favorite game, but the guys over at Lightbox Interactive are doing a great job of communicating with the community and keeping things updated, working on stuff, rebalancing, stuff like that, which is great. So, you know, I think that's going to keep a good community going, but if you're looking for a full, you know, a real full package game right now, I'd say that's Max Payne 3, and I definitely put it up as one of the top contenders for Game of the Year right now. Of course, there's still a lot of amazing games coming out this fall. There's Assassin's Creed 3. I don't even know what else to say right now because so many games have been delayed. You know, BioShock Infinite, that's been pushed back. You know, I hate to say it, but Black Ops 2 has kind of got me interested with the expanded zombies, the new like branching storylines and campaign, and as Treyarch seems to claim, they're doing a lot to revamp the multiplayer, so that could be good. Hell, even the new Medal of Honor. I just named 2 first-person shooters, I know. But there's a lot of good games. Right now, this is the first big Game of the Year candidate, in my opinion. And if you guys want to see some more multiplayer gameplay of this, you want me to post more Max Payne 3, give it a like, give it a favorite, give it a comment, depending on how much you enjoyed it. Stuff like that. You know, if I'm going to do more Max Payne 3 on here, I think I'm going to try and get some Painkiller gameplay up for you guys. And going into the summer, now that the year's ending, I think I'm going to, if you guys want, that is, if you guys want, if you will watch, because I don't want to do it if it's not going to get views. If you guys want me to do a Max Payne 3 Let's Play, or a walkthrough, or whatever, I'll do that. So, yeah, that just about does it. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's so many crazy buttons on YouTube, even though YouTube doesn't work, like, 90% of the time anymore. And that just about does it for this game. So I will see you guys next time.